This is a picture book critique by Larissa Watterson. The picture book in which I will be critiquing is called Orphan Train. It is written by Verla Kay, and the illustrations are done by Ken Stark. Orphan Train is a historical fiction picture book, and Verla Kay created an author's note to describe the period in history in which this book takes place. It reads, between 1854 and 1929, up to 150,000 children from overcrowded East Coast cities were loaded onto trains that took them westward to farming communities. While most children were placed in Midwestern states, a few went as far as California. Many of the children were orphans, but some were children of ill parents or parents too poor to take care of them any longer. The children were paraded in front of the townsfolk at specified train stations and were picked by farmers for various reasons. Some were formally adopted, most were not. Some were treated as valued members of their new families. Others were taken in as unpaid laborers and were treated almost as slaves. Babies and older boys were often the first to be chosen, as they were the most desirable. Families were often separated, and many siblings never saw each other again, or even knew what happened to their brothers and sisters. The outrage people felt when they learned about the plight of many of these orphan train children helped to bring about adoption reforms that made sure adopted families were carefully screened, selected, and monitored to give children the best possible homes. Orphan Train is a story about three siblings and the journey they undergo when their parents become deathly ill of typhoid fever. At first they start out on their own on the streets, and then they move into a crowded orphanage. Later on at the orphanage, selections are made on who will board the orphan trains. All three, Harold, David, and Lucy, are selected to board the orphan trains. There are many stops at stations along the way, and at each station, orphans prepare themselves to meet the farmers and the other townsfolk who are there to make selections. David is the first of the three to be chosen to be with a new family. At another station later on, Harold is chosen by another family. And finally, Lucy is chosen at that same station later on by a farmer's wife. Lucy is one of the lucky ones to have a good home. There are chores to be done, but she is well taken care of. She wonders what has become of her brothers and if they are as happy as she is. Later on, she discovers that Harold is not far away, and so the two of them, their thoughts are turned to David and wonder if they will ever see him again. There are a couple of other things to this book that I feel make it very applicable to a classroom setting, one of which is the rhyming pattern on each page, like this one, which reads, lurching, jerking, clickety-clack, chugging, puffing down the track, days of travel, passing crops, railroad station, engine stops. This rhyming pattern will help to keep younger students entertained and more focused. The other thing I really enjoy about this book are the illustrations. On almost every page, with a person in the picture, at least one, if not more, of the people are looking at the reader. I feel that this will help students become more engaged and feel more involved with the book. I feel that Orphan Train has earned its place in the classroom and is very applicable to students as they are learning about this period in history.